everyone, this is Mary. You're in Mary Reads. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. This vlog that I decided to film today is going to be 3 books in 3 days. I don't like reading fast, but I'm making this vlog on purpose because I have a lot of books from the library that I need to read. I think I have 22, all of them from the library. To be fair, though, they allow you to take up to 50 books, so I'm only halfway there, and I don't think I took too much, but I need to start getting rid of some of them just because some of them are going to be placed on hold by other people, and that means that I have to return them right away. So I decided to clear my shelves a little bit and read 3 books that I have from the library. And for the first book, as you have already seen, I chose Picnic at Hanging Rock by Joan Lindsay. This is not dark academia yet, just because that genre didn't exist back when this book was written, but it is what we now call dark academia. So we have a college for girls, and one day on Valentine's Day, they go on a picnic at Hanging Rock. And I think it's Australia. If I'm not mistaken, everything here happens in Australia. So it's warm and they are very excited. They all go and they're relaxing. And then something happens. I don't know what. And 3 girls, I think, and their teacher either go missing or they found dead. And I think this is going to be an investigation. I'm not entirely sure what to expect. Some people said that this book is boring, but I still want to check it myself, and that's what I think everybody should do. Even if somebody you trust or somebody you respect doesn't like a certain book or a movie, still check for yourself, because there are people with completely opposite points of view, and the same book can be loved by one person and just absolutely hated by the other. So I'm gonna read this. It only has 200 pages, but I am a very, very slow reader. It's now around 12 o'clock, and I counted. I think it will take me around 6 to 7 hours to read that. Again, because first, I'm a slow reader, and second, because this is not my native language, and even though I'm fluent, it still is a little bit harder for me to read in English, in the sense that it goes slower. Not that I don't understand certain words, but it just is slower. My brain is not completely turned into English 1 yet. Now, as for general plans today, I wanted to go to a bookstore and treat myself to a book. Well, I mean, I am clearing my shelves, right? So I have a right to do that. But at this point, I don't know. It's already 12. I haven't started the book yet, and I will see how much time I have. I also wanted to do yoga. I'm trying to get into doing sports a couple of times a week. I'm failing horribly, but since today is my day off, I should try and do at least a short 20-minute workout, which if I do, I'll show you a little bit of. And then also I might be going to the coffee shop to read, just to change the environment. I don't want to sit at home all day long, but we'll see about that. I'm, again, not sure. If I get into the book and I'm in the groove, I might just want to sit and not go anywhere. First 3 chapters, which is a little bit over 30 pages, and I am very intrigued. I wonder what's going to happen. So everything starts with the explanation of what this college for girls is. So we learn about the headmistress who came and bought this old building, made it into a college, and it right away became very popular, and it's been running for 6 years. It made her a lot of money, so everything is going great. And all of these different girls go there of different ages. And so we start reading the story on Valentine's Day, February 14th. And all the girls get all these Valentines and everybody's happy. And they decided to do a picnic at Hanging Rock. This is some rock in Australia. I'm pretty confident it's real because there is a painting by, I don't remember whom, but it literally is called Picnic at Hanging Rock. So I assume that this is a real site. So they decide to go on a picnic, and not every girl can go. There is one girl who was 13 and she didn't recite some poem that they made all students do in order to go, and so she had to stay, but others were very excited. They packed food and they left. So they're going on a carriage. There are 19 girls, then a teacher, a lady who helps her. I don't know if she's also a teacher or she's somebody from the staff. And then a man who rides the carriage or drives the carriage, whatever. So they all go and they get there, they sit down, they have lunch, they relax. Some girls are reading, some girls are sketching something like nature, some even fall asleep. And these three senior girls who everybody adores say, can we please go closer to the Hanging Rock? We need to write an essay. So all the girls needed to write an essay based on the trip. And so they're like, we want to see more of the rock so that we have more material for the essay. So can we please go? And the three of them decide to go. And then this little girl, Edith, wants to go with them. So she asks the teacher, she asks the girls, they say, okay, fine, you can go, and they leave. But they don't really like Edith. She's small, she's annoying. The three of them, senior girls, are best friends. So they go closer to the rock, and they say, okay, so it's getting late. We only had like 30 minutes to go there and back. Everybody will be leaving soon. So how about we just take a break, sit for 2 minutes, and then start going back? And they sat down and they decided to finally go. But at a certain point, they all sat down and the four of them fell asleep. And they fell asleep super deeply. They didn't notice like insects crawling on them. They didn't notice anybody. They didn't notice like one of the girls had a lizard falling asleep on her lap, and she didn't notice that either. So they were very deeply asleep. And then they wake up and the little girl says, oh my God, we are going to be late. When are we going home? We need to get back to the camp right now. And none of the senior girls respond to her. They just turn around and start walking again up the rock, up the hill. And the little girl starts screaming. She's calling those senior girls, but they're not listening to her. It's like she doesn't exist. It's kind of like they got hypnotized or something. I don't know what happened, but after they woke up from that sleep, they just left. And the little girl starts screaming. Nobody hears her. If they did, they would probably chase the senior girls, and get them back. But nobody heard her, so she runs back to the camp. This is where I stopped. And it's also interesting because for a couple pages, we follow two men who start talking to each other, and they see the four girls walking up the hill. And they're talking like, oh, who let them walk? I don't understand. Like, they're four little ladies. And it's happening in 1900s. So it's not that young girls could just walk away on their own. And they're like, oh, that's dangerous. Why don't they have somebody with them? And then the author skips forward a little bit, and he says, later, one of these guys will remember that like one of the girls turned around to talk to her friend. So I assume these men were the last ones to see the four girls, and either they will be questioned later, or they're somehow connected to the disappearance. I was wrong. I thought the teacher also disappeared, but it's just the three senior girls. I have no idea what happened to them, and I wonder if we're gonna have some sort of magic here, because why do they suddenly wake up completely blanking and just leaving? They're all good students. It's not like they can just suddenly start ignoring a little girl and just walk away knowing that they have to go back to college. I wonder if somehow there is going to be magic here, or it's just some weird like hallucination that got over them. I don't know what to expect, but it's super intriguing. I have no idea what's going to happen. I don't know what to expect. And this was so cool. It was a little bit hard to get into the book. So the first 10-15 pages, I was dragging a little bit, but now I'm very much into it. It's gotten easier to read. I'm going faster than I expected. So maybe I'll even be able to read this book in a little bit shorter time than I expected. Now I think I'm gonna go make lunch, and then I will need to make a video for this week. So this video will be coming next week, but for this week I need to make a video now. So that's what I'm gonna do. I was getting my lunch, and today I'm having this amazing tomato cream soup. My husband and I went to my in-laws yesterday, and my mother-in-law made this tomato cream soup. So she gave me a container, and it smells absolutely delicious. It's made with heavy cream. I wish you could smell it through the camera. It's just insane. And I also got myself some Italian bread and got some mozzarella. So this is gonna be an amazing lunch. Something extremely cute just happened. My friend from my hometown, which is near Moscow, sent me a video. So she lived in the same building as my great-grandma, and my great-grandma lived on the first floor, so she had access to this very small piece of land. And when she was still alive, she planted a pine tree. And so my friend went back to her, to that building. That's where her parents live. She doesn't live there anymore, but she was visiting. So she went there, and this pine tree grew 4 stories high, and this is what it looks like. It just made my day, because this is something my great-grandma did, and she's not there anymore, but the tree's still here, and people still look at it, people still admire it and enjoy it. So I think that's something extremely, extremely cute. And yeah, it made me feel very, very warm. Look at that, the sun just came out a little bit. I think I'm gonna skip the bookstore today, but I am gonna go on a short walk just to, enjoy the warm weather while it lasts. It's now around 11 p.m. I'm only on page 80. I think I'm gonna read for another hour or two until my husband gets home, because he's still at work. Oh, that's probably him. Um, and I just wanted to get on camera to share what I've read so far. So as I said the last time, the girls disappear and the police gets involved. They start investigating, they start looking, but nobody can see or find anything, no clues. And so the man who I also mentioned before, the two men who saw the girls walking to the hanging rock, they decide to investigate because one of the men really liked one of the girls. It looks like he maybe fell in love with her, and he now thinks that he needs to save them. So he goes back to the hanging rock and he camps there and is trying to find the girls and the teacher. So I don't know exactly what's going on, but it seems like the guy, his name is Mike, is struggling between what's real and what's a dream, because we move from his dreams into the reality again a couple of times, and he hears this laughter and he hears some sounds and he thinks that it's the girl he fell in love with, one of the three girls, Miranda. So I can't tell if there really is something that's causing hallucinations on this hanging rock, or it's just him being stressed and really trying to find those girls. I honestly don't know what to expect. I think I'm going to be able to finish the book tonight, maybe early morning tomorrow, and I will give my full review tomorrow morning. Good morning, it's the next day, and I'm filming in this weird place, which is not actually weird, it's our bedroom, but I don't think I filmed in here before. This is because my husband is working from home and his desk is in our living room, and well, we can't both be doing stuff in there, so I'm sitting here today. But I basically wanted to come back and tell you about the book. I finished it this morning. Well, it's already like 1 p.m., so I really need to start with the next book. But I already had breakfast, I already finished the book, and I just wanted to tell you about this one and then choose the next book to read. So, Picnic at the Hanging Rock. I really enjoyed it, but there are a couple of things to keep in mind. First of all, I think we stopped at the moment where Michael, or Mike, how he's called in a book, one of the two men who fell in love with one of the girls that disappeared, he starts the search. And he alone is searching for the girls, hoping to find Miranda, that one girl that he realized he really likes. And this is where we ended. So his search was fruitful. I'm not going to say in which way, but it was. It answered some of the questions. Very little, but something. It answered something. But then we move on to looking at what happens to college where these girls studied. Of course, all the parents are worried. They're all the college, and this news is in all the national newspapers. And obviously, this becomes like this huge deal. And parents don't want their daughters associated with this college. First, because the reputation is not very good. And second, what if something like this happens again? If that happened to the other three girls who were senior, and you would think, they're more responsible, they can spend time on their own, what will happen to smaller girls? So Easter is coming, and a lot of parents are saying that the girls are not going to be returning. And this is a huge hit for the headmistress because she needs money and she's losing all of her boarders. So yeah, we are going to learn more about that. What I have to say is that the book leaves more questions than answers in the end. The atmosphere is amazing. The author does a great job painting the picture, and it's spooky, it's cold. There are some like very unsettling details. that are not disgusting, but they're unsettling. But we don't get closer to figuring out everything that has happened. There are a couple other things that happen and that we put our attention to. It's not just the investigation. So it's like you finish the book and you have more questions than you did in the beginning. And you don't exactly know what to think about it. So the author leaves it to you. Like, do you think there is a mystery? There is some sort of like black magic or something like that going on? Is there some sort of like a different reality maybe? Or is this just a regular crime that was committed by regular people? Like, let's say men took the girls, did whatever they wanted to them, and then killed them and left them somewhere. So it can be both. It can be very, earthly, or it can be something from a different universe. And you can think whatever you want because the author leaves that question very much unanswered. I usually don't like books with like this open ending where you can create your own ending. But here it worked. I feel like the author gave us enough. So often we just get, in books like that, you just get all the clues and then that's it. The author leaves you hanging. Here you get some answers, but then you also get new questions and you start thinking like, okay, so what do I think about that? What do I want to happen? Like, what do I wish happened? So in that sense, it was interesting. If you really don't like the open endings in the book, maybe this is not going to be the best book for you. But if you're okay with them and you want some great atmosphere, this is definitely something to take. I can't say this is dark academia exactly, but it's definitely its ancestor. They're definitely in the same line somewhere. Just this book is much, much further away from dark academia that we know today. Now let's choose the book for today. The thing is, I have 3 books here that I'm choosing between. But tomorrow, my third and last day of this marathon, we are gonna go to a very cool place that I'm not gonna talk about right now. I'll tell you tomorrow, but that will take a couple hours. So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to read a very long book. So I need to leave a shorter one for tomorrow. But as for the options I have is The Blue Castle by Lucy Montgomery. This is the book that I just got from the library this week. And I think it was one of the 25 books that I wanted to read this year. It's about a girl who lives with her, I think, aunts or her mom and her grandma. So she's basically brought up by women and she is dreaming of true love. She's dreaming of adventure and of this blue castle that for her is this embodiment of all of her dreams. And one day she finds out that she's sick, very sick, and she decides to leave the life that she always wanted. So she starts her adventure, she meets new people, she falls in love, and then she sees this blue castle that she was always dreaming about. So yeah, I wanted to read this book. Let me check how many pages it is because again, it's already 1 p.m. and I'm a very, very slow reader. It is 248 pages and the font is okay, so that's a maybe. The next book that I might be reading is Agatha Christie's The Mysterious Affair at Styles. I think this is the shortest one. Yeah, 212 pages. And this is Agatha Christie's first book, and it's also considered one of her better mysteries. So I'm very, very interested. I one day want to read all Agatha Christie, but I think since it's 212 pages, I will leave it for tomorrow. So that's probably going to be the book for tomorrow. And finally, I have The Enchanted April, the book that I really wanted to read in April and really wanted to read for this marathon, but it is like 301 pages. But the font is big, so the font is, I think I'm gonna take this one. I really, really want to read this book. So this is a story, and I'm sorry if you can hear what's happening outside. There is some generator working or something, I don't know. But This is a book about four women of very different status, very different ages, and they all are tired of the lives they are leading. And they go to this castle in Italy to spend the month of April there. And they rediscover themselves, they find friendship, they feel better about themselves and their lives. So I think this is going to be a very fun book. I don't think there's going to be any drama in here, at least I'm hoping. And I think this is just going to be a great, very light read. Um, I kind of have a feeling that this is like Sex and the City of 20th century, for women becoming friends and living their life to their fullest. I don't know, that's probably a stupid comparison, but I feel like this is going to be a book about very strong women friendship, and I like that. I like that a lot. So I'm going to start on this book, and hopefully I will be able to read 300 pages today. So it's the same day, just a different outfit. It got a little hot in the apartment, so I had to change into a t-shirt, but I wanted to come and tell you about this book. I've read the first 50 pages and I'm really enjoying it. So in the first 50 pages, we get to know our four main characters. So four women who go to Italy. It starts with Mrs. Wilkins. She is this young lady. She's married to a 39-year-old lawyer. He doesn't really love her, it feels, because he keeps thinking about her as like, did I marry the right woman? And by right, he means, oh, she cooked everything I like for dinner. Oh, she did everything correctly. So it's not about feeling, it's more about her practical use, as I kind of see it, at least right now in these first 50 pages. And he's like, okay, so yes, I'm a lawyer, yes, I make money, but you shouldn't spend a lot. So when you're buying clothes, you need to thrift, and you should not spend a lot of money on any accessories. And that's what she does. So she thrifts her outfits, she doesn't spend money on herself. And why that's important is because his sister, so Mrs. Wilkins' sister-in-law, married this very extravagant and rich man. And so Mr. Wilkins and Mrs. Wilkins now have a foot into that higher society. So they attend events. And the sister, Mrs. Wilkins' sister-in-law, doesn't like her because she's like, she's not dressing nicely. She doesn't have all of those manners that I need. And Mrs. Wilkins is just a very shy woman. She doesn't want to talk to anyone and she's scared. Maybe she does want to, but she's scared. And she is not dressed perfectly well, so people are not interested in her. People don't notice her. And she's too shy to come to somebody and start speaking herself. So once she's sitting at this event, and she's reading news in the Times, and she sees the advertisement saying that this castle in Italy will be given away for a month. You can take it for rent. It has like 8 beds, and you get like all the servants and stuff, so you don't need to bring anybody. Just come. And she's like, wow, I want to do that. I have a little bit of my own money saved, but I don't think that's going to be enough. Plus, even if it is enough, I don't want to spend all of my money on that and then be left with nothing. I can't ask my husband and owe him something. So she sees this other lady at the event who is also reading the Times, and she comes to her and says, did you read that advertisement? And that lady is our second main character, and her last name is, I keep forgetting, it's Rose Arbuthnot. Arbuthnot. That's a hard last name. So Mrs. Arbuthnot is a 33-year-old woman. She spends a lot of money on charity. She believes in God a lot. She's very religious. She has been with her husband for, I think it was a while, just around like 13 years, 14, something like that. And he makes money by writing books about king's mistresses. So for her, it's like dirty money because this is a bad subject to write about. but they have all the money in the world. So she kind of covers her husband's sins by being this very nice, very religious lady, helping different organizations, helping poor people. But she herself is unhappy. She doesn't spend money on herself, and she never lived for herself. So she always lived either for God or for the poor people or for her husband. And Mrs. Wilkins says, "You look unhappy, and we should both go spend a month in Italy away from our husbands and just be happy." And she's like, "But this is crazy. Plus, I can't spend money on myself when there are people in need." But Mrs. Wilkins is like, "Let's go." She's this engine that brings everything together. So she starts everything. And so they write to the castle's owner, and he says it's £60 a month. And they're like, "Wow, this is too expensive. This is so much. We cannot do this." And so they decide to find two other women who might want to go with them. And they find these two women. One of them is Miss Caroline Dester. She is from a higher society. She is aristocracy. And they're like, "Well, she's aristocracy. I don't know if we should take her. She's like too cool for us." But this Miss Dester hates her life. She hates her friends who she doesn't trust. She thinks they're with her just because she has status. She lost her fiance during the war. He died during the war, and she just hated her life. And she's like, "I need to get away." So they immediately take her in. And then the other one is Mrs. Fisher. She is this older lady who knew all the artists from her childhood. So she knew a lot of different painters. She knew a lot of authors, and she like literally shook hands with them. But she was a little girl. And her husband also died at war. So she was a widow. And her life was just very, not even boring. I can't say boring, but it was empty. So she also wants to go with them, and they take her in. They interview both ladies and they like them. And so they go to the castle. Apparently it was very hard for Mrs. Wilkins to go because her husband didn't want to let her go. But for Mrs. Arbuthnot, it was not that hard because her husband looks like didn't really care about her. So he's like, he didn't even know that she's leaving. And I don't know if he's cheating on her and this is her big pain, or he just doesn't care about her, and he's fully immersed into like writing books. But you have these two polarizing ladies, one who wants more attention from her husband. She wants him to care that she's going somewhere. And the other one who like doesn't want her husband to know. She doesn't want him to get angry, because in the book we will see how she is telling him that she's going, and he's like, "What? You did not talk to me about that before? You're just going? What is that? Who is that friend I haven't heard of before? You have to cancel. You have to tell them that you're not going." So he's this very controlling man, and she's like, "I wish he was not that controlling." And so now I'm at the moment where they go to Italy, and it's their first day. They just get to the castle. I'm looking forward to the adventure a lot. I really love how the book is written. It took me a little bit to get into the vocabulary, into the writer's style, but once I'm in, that's just a perfect read for spring. I love it so, so much. And I don't really know what to expect. I know there's going to be love for one of the ladies, but I don't really know what the others are going to discover. Obviously, I think they're all going to become friends, but I don't know what else is going to happen. I'm looking forward for the adventure. I think it's going to be fun. I don't think there is going to be any drama. Maybe just some sort of like sadness from those two ladies whose husband and fiance died at war. I can definitely see that, but I don't think there's going to be a huge dramatic event. So I don't think it's going to be like this book. I think this is going to be much more light and fun, and I'm really excited. I'll keep you posted. I'll probably come back when I'm at like 100 pages or maybe 150, and I'll give you an update. It is almost midnight. I have not finished the book, but I wanted to tell you a little bit about what else I have read, and kind of give you an overview of what I decided to do with this vlog since I am not finishing books on time. So the girls, the women, get to the castle, and the two ladies that initially decided to go to this castle and pay the rent for it, they decided to come a little bit early so that they can prepare the bedrooms for the other two guests, and they think that they're hostesses. But it turns out that two other ladies came before them, and they just decided that they'll take the two best bedrooms there are, and they started acting like they're hostesses themselves, which I don't really like because, well, they really did just, enter this scene, entered this deal much, much later. So I'm just like, this is not nice. And even, okay, fine, you came earlier, let's say you decided to come earlier, but why are you taking the best bedrooms without asking others what they want? Like, this is just mean. I feel like this is mean. And then this young lady who is super rich, she is bored and very tired. She wants to be left alone. So she acts in a very mean way towards these two ladies who organized the whole thing. And she's like, oh, I don't want to have anything to do with them. They are just, weird. I want to be left alone. I don't want to have to talk to them at all. And she's the only one, well, no, she's not the only one, but there are two ladies that know Italian, and these two ladies are not the original ladies that we start the book with. It's this rich aristocratic lady and then the older widow. So they both know Italian, and the cook comes to the younger lady and asks what they want for lunch, which literally she doesn't need to cook, like she just needs to tell what they want. And she's like, oh, okay, I will tell you what I want or what we want, but why is it always me saying it doesn't matter that I know Italian and they don't? I don't want to be a hostess. I'm not a hostess here. Like, ask other ladies. So you don't take the responsibility. You don't do anything for the house. You expect everybody else to do stuff for you, but yet you take the best bedroom. You want the garden to be fully yours. You want to be left alone. So why do others have to do the work for you and you just sit there? Like, I hate people like that, and I just feel like if you all decide to go, even if you don't know each other, if you all decide to go, if you all contribute the same amount of money, then do the same amount of things. Like, first of all, the garden doesn't belong to you. It's a quarter of it is yours. But then also help out. You don't need to, again, you don't need to cook anything. You don't need to clean anything. Just say what you want to eat. How hard can it be? I don't like people like that. And she's annoying me a little bit. I hope she gets better later and she kind of opens up a little bit. But right now she looks just like a very narcissistic and mean lady who's bored by everybody. So this is as far as I've gotten, and I want to continue reading tonight. It's already like 11:30, so I'm not going to read a lot, but I just wanted to tell you what I decided to do with this vlog since I'm not able to finish the books on time. So I'm thinking that this is just going to be reading 3 books vlog. It's not going to happen in 3 days. So I decided the video will last a little bit longer. I'm just going to try reading a little bit faster than I usually do, knowing that I have to go through 3 books like fast enough for the video to get out on time. So yeah, I'm not going to be rushing to read the book in one day, but I will be reading fast. And in the end, we will still have 3 books read. So yeah, I'll get to you tomorrow with more news about this book. And thank you for being with me today. Good night, and I'll see you tomorrow. Good night. it's a little gloomy today, but it should get better. We were told that it's gonna get better. So I wanted to quickly check in and tell you a little bit more about the book because I've read some more last night, and also give you a plan for the day. So we're gonna go to two old bookstores today. We've never been there before, and they sound just amazing, exactly what we like. So we're gonna shop there. I'm expecting to buy some books, and yeah, then I'll take you with me and show the books that we end up getting. As for Enchanted April, uh, I, I I like the book, but it annoys me. The characters annoy me. And I see that this is how it's supposed to go, because if I understand correctly, we have to slowly see how the characters change. So, for example, this Lady Caroline, who doesn't believe in love and who is very sarcastic and she's tired of everything, she, I assume, has to, start finding something in this love and fall in love herself. Then our first, and I would say this connecting character, the character that connects everybody else, Mrs. Wilkins, she's super shy. She is not happy with her life. She's tired. And the second she gets into the castle, she's so happy. She stops being shy. She starts showing her character. So I assume that it's going to happen to every character. But oh my God, how annoying the characters are right now. So I thought that Lady Caroline annoys me, but no. Mrs. Fisher, the older lady, is the most annoying character possible. So she says, I don't want to give anybody my living room because it's mine. It's attached to my room. Why would anybody want to impose on me? Why don't we just stay in different rooms? But then when she wants to go to the garden and she sees that Lady Caroline, closed the doors so that nobody can enter, she's like, why would she do that? The garden is for everyone. I want it as well. So, like, how does that work? So you can do mean things, but others can't do them to you? I always hated this. Like, in real life and books, like, this is just mean and bad. And then she says, oh, ladies in my time were much, much better. They didn't do this. They didn't do that. They were like this. They were like that. Like, lady, times change, and there should be understanding of other people. Like, when you were a young lady and you were doing certain things, the generation before you probably thought that you are being outrageous and crazy. So, like, I know that she will change. I can predict that. I already know how this book is going to finish. But just like, I can't. It's so hard to get through this when she's being so annoying. I'm really hoping that it's going to get better soon, though, because I'm like losing my temper. I can't. So yeah, these are all the updates that I had to give, and we are going to go to the bookstores right now because they close a little early today. And I'm hoping to finish the book today and give you the last update on this one, and finally start Agatha Christie. With 7 books. We got 3 for my husband and 4 for me, and I'm gonna show all of them to you, and then I'm also gonna make like shots of showing you the books itself so you can see the edition better. If you like it, maybe you can find it somewhere as well. So let's begin with Edith Wharton. The Age of Innocence. This book won Edith Wharton a Pulitzer Prize in 1921, and this is a story about a man who is about to marry a young woman, but then another woman returns from a different country after her disastrous marriage, and our main character falls in love with her, and he has to choose between his passion and his duty to marry this other woman. And yeah, we'll see what he chooses and what he decides. The second book that I got is The Catcher in the Rye. I've had this book in Russia in Russian, but I left it there. But I saw it in the used bookstore, and it's completely new. It's like this very nice pocket copy, and it's my brother-in-law's favorite book, so he keeps telling me about it, so I decided to try it, see if I'm gonna like it. I've heard a bunch of weird things about Salinger, not, you know, the best things, and I don't know how to look at this book now, but I will try it. I'm usually able to do a pretty good job with separating the author from the book that they wrote, and I'm hoping I'll be able to do it here. Next book is The Return of the Native by Thomas Hardy. I have Tess of the D'Urbervilles, haven't read it yet, planning on reading it this year. But I decided to get more of Thomas Hardy's books, and this book caught my attention. It's a story about a man who comes back to the village of his birth from Paris, and he falls in love with this woman. His initial idea is that he's going to improve the lives of people who live in this village, but he falls in love, and that becomes his kind of first priority. He marries this girl, and their marriage is, you know, very fiery and passionate, and some tragedy happens. Not sure what it is, but this tragedy somehow brings our main character to his dream of service. Not sure exactly what it means. And yeah, I'm very curious about the story. I like the edition. I think it's very cute, kind of very old-fashioned. So I'm gonna try reading this book as well. And the last book that I got for myself is Far from the Madding Crowd, also by Thomas Hardy. Here he kind of attributes to George Eliot, which I think is pretty cool. I do like George Eliot a lot, and I'm planning on reading one of her books this year as well. So this is a story about a man who follows the life of, I don't know how, either he's her friend or a servant, but he follows this woman through her life, through her first marriage, through her second love interest. And yeah, that's all I know about this book, basically. This is apparently one of the most known Thomas Hardy's books, and it immediately made him famous. So I really want to know more about this book. Now let's move to the books that my husband got. These are all nonfiction. He doesn't read that much fiction. And the first book that I also found extremely interesting and that I would like to read as well is called Letters from an American Farmer and Sketches of 18th Century America. So this is going to be, as I understand, all letters from American farmers. We'll learn more about their lives on the farm, what they, you know, eat, what their day looks like, how they make their money. I think this is an absolutely amazing book. Especially what intrigues me is the sketches of 18th century America. I think this is super cool. I would love to know more about the American history. Next, something that I will not be able to tell you anything about because I just don't know that much about philosophy. My husband loves philosophy, he loves history and art, and he reads a lot of books on those topics. And so he found the philosophy book that he was very interested in. It's called Concluding Unspecific Postscript by Kierkegaard. This is this huge book, just, you know, Kierkegaard's work. And the last book my husband got for himself is Art and Life of Turner. Turner is my husband's favorite painter, and this is one of those books that you keep on the table, on the coffee table, for people to just you know, go through if they're interested. It's not something that you read necessarily. Of course, there's some text, but you don't have to read all of it. Like, see, you do get some text, but mostly you look at this book for the pictures. and I think it's absolutely wonderful. We have one on Van Gogh because this is my favorite painter, and now we have one on Turner. Hello, it's the afternoon of the next day, and I'm just coming in to show you this book and also this book. I finally started reading it. This vlog is really getting super long, but I'll try to be short. I finished it last night and it was good. It was pretty naive. It was easy to figure out what's gonna happen. So if you're reading it for like unexpected plot twists and for you know, some like blockbuster moments, you're not gonna get those. It's just a very nice, cozy story that you read to relax. Spring is a great time to read it, kind of gets you in the mood. The only thing, try to read it when it's warm, not like what it is now outside, just so that, you know, the atmosphere is a little bit nicer and you can kind of feel it. It's a nice book. I probably would not reread it. I really liked the language, liked how it was written. I would like to watch a movie. I know there's a movie, but it's not the book that you reread very often. I mean, I can see myself rereading it in a couple years just because I want something super nice and just easy to read. But just, you know, as a favorite book that you reread, like I reread Harry Potter every once in a while, I can't see myself doing with this book. Now for the second book, The Mysterious Affair at Styles. It's so easy to read. I'm just flying through the pages. It's only 200 pages long. I'm already more than halfway done with it. So in this book, we get our narrator, Hastings, who is Hercule Poirot's friend. And it is a first Hercule Poirot mystery, so we get introduced. So Hastings already knows Poirot, and he meets him at Styles, which is a residency of this very wealthy family. And he says, "Oh, Poirot, what are you doing here? I didn't expect you to be here." And he says that Mrs. Inglethorpe, who is this very rich lady, helped him during the war, and I think the war is continuing. So she helped him in the beginning of the war. She found a house for him and his other Belgian friends. So he already knows the lady. And then something happens, and the lady dies. People know that it's from poisoning because of the convulsions she was having, but nobody knows how it happened. Nobody knows who did it. And of course, Hercule Poirot, knowing this woman and appreciating her help, wants to figure out what happened there. And so he and Hastings start working on the case. It's pretty much classic Agatha Christie, so her first book does not differ a lot from her future books. The structure is kind of the same. You get the murder, you get Hercule Poirot questioning everybody else, you get the police officers who are also working on the case, and of course they know Poirot and they highly respect him. So we kind of see the classic Agatha Christie style here. If you want something different from Agatha Christie usually writes, and you would think that her first book would probably be different just because it's her first experience, not really, it's the same. But it's very gripping, the story is nice, probably will not become one of my favorites unless there's some crazy plot twist in the end. But it's one of her better works, and I have definitely seen books of hers that I liked less. For now, I don't know who the murderer is. I have my suspicion. I think it might be John, one of the stepsons of Mrs. Inglethorpe. I don't know, but I have a feeling that he had a reason to kill her. So we'll see if I'm right in the end. I'm not going to tell you if I'm right in the end, just not to spoil the book, but I will see for myself, and I'll get back to you once I finish the book to give my final reviews and finish this vlog because it really is getting super long. I'm finally done with the book. Oh my god, it feels like it's been forever. So I was surprised by the ending, but I have to say that one of my theories that I had in the beginning, I had multiple, was correct. So in the very beginning, I was like, I think this is what's going on. But then I was like, no, it looks like I was wrong. And what Agatha Christie writes proves that I'm wrong. But in the end, that's how it was. And Agatha Christie was just trying to make us look in a different direction. I do think that this book is one of the better Agatha Christie mysteries. Of course, I have another like 50 to read, but from what I've read so far and what I've heard about other books, I think this one is one of the better ones, and I would definitely recommend you read it. If you're interested in Agatha Christie, her very classic style, she's not different from any other books that she writes. Everything is structured like every other Agatha Christie novel is. And yeah, the murderer uses poison here, which is not just a random way of killing a person. It's because Agatha Christie worked in a pharmacy, she knew poisons, she knew pills, and this is why she decided to use this method. I was very excited to read it, and in the end, we read 3 books. Just to remind you what they were: The Enchanted April, The Picnic at Hanging Rock, and Agatha Christie's The Mysterious Affair at Styles. I'm glad that I was able to clear 3 books out of my shelves. The only issue is that I got like 7 more, but that's okay. We'll just have another marathon or something. I'm glad I read these 3. I was very excited about reading them. I really wanted to read them this year, and I finally did. So yeah, thank you for watching this video. Let me know if there are any other books that you are particularly interested in, maybe something that you don't know if you want to read. You're kind of not sure if that's the right book for you. Maybe we can have a marathon of reading those books, and I will read them and let you know if you should read it. Yeah, and thank you for watching this video. Thank you for staying with me this whole time. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.